Hey guys, how's it going? It is Kire here with another Infinite Magicraid video. And in today's video, I want to talk about by far the most underrated debuff that you can possibly have in this game. I think this is such an incredible debuff, and it makes a massive difference in so many different versions of content. But I also think it could be super overlooked. And I want to highlight this specifically on when you can actually use this to your advantage. And it is this debuff right here, Effect Res Down. Ideally, you're going to have Effect Res Down 2, but you can also get effect res down 1 with it still has a pretty good effect. But the main thing that makes it good is if it's associated with an auto attack. That is going to be the major thing that makes it really good. And the two characters that are actually good that use this are going to be Hoff and unfortunately Nicholas. He has it on his as well. And this is such a good thing because at first I didn't think it was that good. But the reason why I think it's amazing is because how Effect Hit actually changes the chance to land an ability. It used to be, like in all these games, like for example, Raid Shadow Legends, Ace, whatever, there's an accuracy check. In this game, there's an effect hit check, but usually the actual ability's chance to land is never affected. I've never seen that in any one of these games, but in this game, it actually is affected, and we've done that testing. We've discovered that that's actually a thing. And there's a reason why it took so long for people to figure it out, because it's just not something that is intuitive. It's not explained in game, and that is what these things do. So you'd think just having more effect hit is good, but not that good. This means it's actually amazing. So then the inverse of that, which is, reducing their effect hit, is actually really good as well. Especially when it comes to other characters such as your damage dealers, like bleeders, for example. This is where it's really going to be a big deal, but there's other things too that actually make it really nice as well. And I'll explain the things that I've been liking with effect res down on an auto attack a ton. So the first thing I want to explain is things like this. Here, let's go to Visly here. And this is another character with her passive. She can reduce it, but it's the 25. It does go up to the 50%, and they do need to attack, but still, this is another character that I think this is one of the best epics in the entire game, and she has that ability in her passive here. So just keep that in mind. But the thing that I want to highlight here is, notice that she has a 70% chance to land the attack down. When you have enough effect hit, or you have someone reducing their effect hit, and you have enough effect hit, it's going to make that 100% chance to land. And from my testing, anything that is 60% or higher, you can make it guaranteed. Anything 50% or lower, it's never guaranteed, but you can increase the chances of it landing. And for example, one that I've tested is Ben Austin. He has this effect here where it's a 35% chance to land twice, but I've never been able to get it to 100%, or it ends up becoming a 50%, but you can make it a very high chance of landing, but you can never guarantee it. Same with bleeds. And this is something that having this massive disparity is awesome and really cranks up your damage. Like you can get insane damage if you can just have a big disparity of your effect hit versus their effect resistance. So for example, I have 83% effect hit, and if you reduce 50% of it, and you can also get negative effect resistance as well. So you always get that value out of that effect down to when you're applying it. And then the main reason why it's so nice on an auto attack is because things like Catherine. So you have the counter attack, and then you're consistently applying it just because it's nature of counterattacking. They're going to attack and then apply this ability here. So the combination of it's easy to apply and the increasing of the chances of the abilities, for example, especially bleed, is a massive damage increase. And places that would actually apply are going to be guild boss. Like my damage went to the absolute moon when I have the combination of an effect res down and in a good amount of effect hit. So he has 100% effect res initially, or I believe 80% on this one here. So let's just show this off. And I'm putting space in here to really highlight just how bad it is when you don't have this. Because I can do 193 million. That's like the max I've done with Santa on here. And yes, there's other things too going for him where there's the speed up where it's only a speed up 1 versus Space's speed up 2, or versus Nicholas speed up 2. So there's that also going against Space here, but she does have turn meter increase, whereas Nicholas doesn't have that. So it's kind of a wash. The major difference here is just the effect res down that Nicholas has that she does not. And that is why I'm highlighting this. So he has 80%, so I'm 80 to 80. And because his percentages are low just naturally, they don't apply that much. So you need to have a disparity here if you really want these bleeds to apply. And when I have Nicholas in, I can consistently get 10 bleeds on him. Or just with one bleeder, with this comp here of Ben Austin calling him in, counterattacks with Catherine, and then having the effect res down with whatever character, whether it be a Hoff or a Nicholas. And then we get more and more turns, and we can lap them with the speed up or the turn meter increase that Nicholas and or Space provides. So this is something that I was testing, and doing this test really highlighted the disparity here, because I go from 193 million, roughly 180 million on Guild Boss 5 to only 100 million with Space. And you'll notice that I'm, 8 bleeds is going to be as high as I get. See, I have 5 here. I'm just going to do a couple turns in here to really highlight just how much I'm actually doing. But then we're going to switch to Nicholas, and you're going to see a massive difference in the ability of being able to consistently land 10 bleeds. So we got 10 here. It's not that consistent, but maybe we can come online here and consistently land them. But the odds of that happening are very low, in my opinion, because we're matched pretty much right up there with the Guild Boss on our effect hit. And this kind of thing happens pretty consistently, only 2 bleeds. Like, this is a pretty big disparity when it comes to this. And so now I think I made my point here. Let's exit out of this, and then let's actually put Nicholas back in and go from there. So here, let's challenge, preset lineup, and then we'll go to get him out and then put in Nicholas. And then we're going to see just with that one debuff, yes, there is a difference too, because there's speed up 1. I think that other part of it actually is kind of a wash. Also, normally I would ban his A3, but I forgot to do that. But I think that'll be fine. For the purposes of this testing, I think that's fine. I don't think it's going to mean that big of a difference. So now we're going to start to notice that those resists are not going to be nearly as often. Yes, we got one there, but we're going to be getting a ton more bleed lands here. So let's see it actually start to ramp up. And then for the majority of this fight, we should be having 10 bleeds. Okay, so we're on turn 4. We have 8 now. We have 10 now. Let's see if we drop back to 1 ever. So I think it does take a few turns to ramp up. But now we're consistently keeping 10. Let's see if we can keep it for a while. So we're down to 3. Okay, and then we're going to hit that. We should either stay even. And this is where we can kind of come back to 10. But we never drop down to 1. We're around in that 7 range, 10 again. So I think this is a little bit better. I'm going to let this run here, and I'll be back here in a moment. But this kind of shows, yes, it does take a little bit to ramp up, but we're consistently landing those bleeds significantly more in this run than we were in the previous. Okay, so here's the end of this one. Definitely significantly more damage than I would have gotten without that effect res down 2, is because of that I was able to apply more bleeds, and this is the kind of damage. I would say 177 million is kind of on the low end. I believe it would be more with the consistent landing of it if I just banned his A3, but whatever, I didn't remember to do that. Here's another example of why I really like doing this, is because in dungeons, what's really important is being able to hit the speed requirements, because I really like having my Catherine with enough speed to be able to always outspeed whatever boss. And it took a long time for me to get the gear and the Tower of Mark currency here in the Red Mark faction to ever get enough speed for this. This was a long grind, and I would slowly level up my gear to be fast enough, but also tanky enough to be able to outpace the boss. And if you guys don't know, just look at the top boss, and it's 2200 speed, minus it by 20 for whatever stage you're on. And that was a long grind, but obviously having this is not normal. So I want to just kind of be realistic on what your gear is and what speed requirements you can be hitting. So it's very difficult to hit those speed requirements while also hitting enough effect hit. It's very difficult I'm just cranking up the speed. I don't even have to worry about effect hit because I like to pair Catherine with characters like Hoff, with characters like Santa. And I would do this well before Santa was a thing. Like, so it's like Hoff is a really good character to do this with. And you could just focus on him having enough effect hit and mastery to be able to land that ability. Then it snowballs for everyone else. For example, he's the one that you put in the effect hit, whereas I don't have to worry about that with Catherine. I just focus on her getting enough speed, getting enough health, and she's fine. And then the effect hit is just a total bonus. And you're going to obviously want to crank that up as much as you possibly can, but it's very difficult to do so. Like, this kind of speed is very difficult to hit. Like, here's the kind of gear. It's a lot of blue gear. You know, yes, this is by far my best piece, and I'm covering it. Here, let me see if I can move out of the way. So this is the kind of stuff that you can expect, but all of this other stuff is just blue 6-star pieces. Yes, that takes a long time to get, but eventually you don't have to feel so discouraged that you need not only 6-star pieces, but 6-star epic pieces and with good rolls. I just focus on the blue pieces that are 6-star and you get good rolls on them. Like, you get one with speed and then it double roll speed. Boom. That's as much speed as I can get for a very long time until I get a speed one with epic that, you know, triple rolls on it. You know, like, that's the kind of thing that's going to take a very long time, but I think it's at least realistic to have good stats off blue pieces. And I have it on this one right here. This is just a green piece, but very easy once you finally get a green piece with speed. So it's not like this crazy thing to get good gear. It's just eventually you're going to need 6-star pieces everywhere to get enough speed requirements. But that is how, you know, I'm cranking up to, you know, 2,400 speed, but you don't need anywhere close to that if you're farming like dungeons 23, 22, 24, whatever. You only need like 2080 speed or something like that. And you don't need to worry about effect hit too much because their effect res requirements are lower, and you're going to be lowering those effect res requirements because you have someone like this doing that. So it's like you can get it in Epic and Visley. You can also get it in a Legendary and Hoff. That's the ideal. Hopefully Nicholas will actually be accessible for everyone, and then everyone can take advantage of this. But I'm not going to really believe their announcement until I see it for myself. But I wanted to highlight just how good this is if you have characters that do this, because it's such an impactful thing to have to be able to really use with the other characters in multiple scenarios, whether it be towers, your damage in guild boss, or dungeons. So hopefully this was helpful, guys. And if you guys have any questions, or if you guys have any other characters that do this that you really like, definitely let us know down in the comments below. And with that, guys, I'm out of here. Peace.